Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. I love talking about this stuff with you guys. So just today, this afternoon, this evening really, I posted up a picture on the YouTube community tab. If you're not subscribed and have the notifications on the WHOTEEWHO channel, make sure you're subscribed, got the notifications on so you can participate in this type of stuff next time. But I just did a quiz, popped up a picture of a deer. This deer right here. You guys see that? So if you look close, it's an 8-pointer. I'll pop it up right here so you guys can see it a little bit better. But it's an 8-pointer. Antlers are borderline as wide as the ears. It's a 2.5-year-old deer or 3.5-year-old deer. And I simply said, honestly answer this question, would you shoot this deer? I would. So I'm not kidding. This is literally a picture from one of my trail cameras. If I see that deer, I'm going to put an arrow or a bullet in them. And if my kids are with me, you better bet your bottom dollar I'm going to have them smoke that deer. It's all about perspective. So before I get into talking a little bit more about this, I'm going to go show you some deer similar size that I have taken and my sons have taken, and we mounted those suckers on the wall. We didn't just shoot those deer, we mounted them because we're proud of them. Let me show you some mounts up here real quick. My boy's sleeping, and these mounts are in his room, so I'm probably going to whisper a little bit. Alright, so here's 2 deer. I'm going to flip this camera around, but I'm going to flip it around and talk a little bit about them real quick. These are deer that we took that are about the same size. So, this buck right here, this is a 6-pointer from Tennessee that I got 2 years ago with a crossbow. And you know what? I was tickled to death to get that deer. I hunted hard to get him. I hunted 5 days straight to get this buck. And I am proud of it. Mounted him on the wall. Last year, my son shot this 6-pointer from just about the same spot. I'm pretty sure those deer are related. But same spot, and he got that 6-pointer, and both of us were super tickled to get that deer and this deer. All right, so there's 2 of our deer mounts. One was my 6-pointer, and the other one my son's. And I am super proud to have those deer hanging on the wall. I love showing people. I love telling the stories. Those 2 6-pointers would score probably not far off of this 8-pointer, where 62% of you said you would take that deer. Now, this isn't, you know, a survey of 8 or 9 people. As of right now, this survey has 4,200 votes. I'm going to leave it up just to see where it goes. But as of right now, when I'm making this video, after a couple hours, over 2,500 people said they would take that deer. And they're in my club. If I see that deer, hey, I'm going to fling an arrow at him, or I'm going to fling a bullet at him. This deer is on one of my trail cameras. I don't remember ever seeing him before. Maybe I won't ever see him. Maybe I'll see him next time I hunt. I don't know. But if I see that deer, bet your bottom dollar, I'm going to take a fling at him. If my kids are with me, you better believe they're going to take a fling at him. But hey, it's all about perspective, guys. Some of you guys, your grandpappy has 1,000 acres, and you would get in trouble if you took that deer. Some of you guys are on leases that are controlled where you can't take deer this small. That's all good and dandy. That's fine. But regular old dudes, and I'm talking about me, and 62% of 4,200, 2,500 other people are in my boat and said they would take that deer. I would take that deer. To me, that's a good deer. I don't have 10 places of private land that are just loaded with big bucks. To me, and what I have access to hunt, that is a big buck. Now, this is, people say it all the time, can't eat the horns, or give them another year. Okay. Give them another year? That only applies if you own hundreds of acres of land, maybe 100 acres or more, and that deer is not traveling much. Give them another year. If I give a deer another year, well, this is my perspective. A bunch of y'all will probably disagree. You know what? That deer's probably going to catch some disease or get hit by a car. My perspective, if I see that deer, you know what? That deer, God put him in front of me so I could drop him. That's my perspective. Now, if I owned 1,000 acres of land and I managed a bunch of property, I would probably go around saying the same thing. Give him another year. Can't eat the horns. That deer's only 2.5 years old, or that deer's only 3.5 years old. And we're going to get into these comments. And a bunch of you guys said, I only take deer that are 4 years and older or 5 years and older. You know what? I can't remember the last time I ever saw a deer that was 4 or 5 years old, okay? It's all about perspective. Now, some of you guys hunt places or have access to hunt places that have a bunch of old deer. I do not. So my perspective is, that is a good deer. You know what I'm saying? It's all about perspective. Hey, is what it is. But I just love sharing stories and sharing experiences and perspectives. That deer, and 62% of you guys, I would take, and 62% of you guys would too. Now let's jump into the comments, and this is going to be a lot of fun. We're not going to drag this out, but I love talking about this stuff and seeing what you guys think. I had a feeling that a bunch of you guys would be with me and be happy to take that deer. But let's get into it a little bit. Let's pop up. I'll highlight some of you guys' comments. All right, so I just went through all the comments again. I read every single comment every day, guys. If you comment on a video, I absolutely read it. Every video, every day. Let's go through some of these comments. Now, come to find out, after reading all these comments again, a lot of it has to do on where you live. So, let's just get into it and see what you guys said. Definitely, it meets my criteria. It's legal, and it gets me excited. I'm taking it. Hey, that kind of sums up how I feel about it. I like taking monster deer, but you know what? I get almost as excited about taking those. That 8-pointer we're talking about, hey, I would be excited to take it. Here's another one. That's decent sized down here on the coast. There's so much pressure on them, and they're ran so much by dogs, the deer don't have time to put weight on. So, there you go. There's somebody saying for where they live, that's decent size. Here's another one. I only say no because, so here's a no. Most of the counties they hunt in Texas have antler restrictions that don't allow you to take one that isn't over a 13-inch spread inside. With just that quartering picture, looks to be too narrow. So, there's a Texas one. Said that would be too small, not legal. There's Justin Smith says, if it's a clear background, it's a go for me. Beef Slayer says, if I was bow hunting, I would. Still haven't taken a whitetail with my bow. Probably pass with a rifle. What about you? Last day of season, still got a tag? Or is it a good any day for you? So that's interesting perspective too. Bow hunting, it's more of a challenge. This guy's a little bit more willing to take a smaller deer if he's using a bow. That's an entirely different perspective. So asking me, hey, any day, I don't care if it's the first day or the last day I got a bow or I got a bolt action, I'm dropping it. That's just me. Orange Smoke. Long-time viewer, Orange Smoke, I appreciate you big time. Always see you in a bunch of the live streams and the chats. The way I've looked at it, is you bought the tag, so if it's legal and it makes you happy, take it. I pretty much roll the same way with you right there. Used to hunt with guys that were trophy hunters, and if it wasn't big, they wouldn't even tell you congrats on getting a deer. Who cares what others think? Hey, absolutely love it. I'm with you 100% right there. And you know what? Poo-poo on those dudes that wouldn't congrats you. If you're one of my buddies and you get a 40-pound doe, you know what? I'm going to come give you a high five, probably a hug, and say, man, that's awesome. You got this deer, and I'm pumped for you. I've hunted with my friends who've taken button bucks. And you know what? Same thing. Congratulations, man. We're out here in the woods having a blast catching deers, okay? You know what I'm saying? What would you rather be doing than catching deers? I don't care if we're catching button bucks or we're catching monsters. It's a good time, okay? Orange Smoke. Thanks for the comment. Chamber, this comment says, well, us average men don't pay ranches to go hunting like some YouTubers. Hey, there's some facts to that too. Hopefully that wasn't a shot at me. Hey, I can't afford to go to a bunch of ranches either. Sometimes we luck out or / are blessed enough where we find some people to foot the bill for us where we get to do that too. Did I do any high fence stuff last year? I hunted Texas last year. Once got a whitetail, but it was not high fence. Got an antelope, it wasn't high fence. I got a mule deer, it wasn't high fence. I don't think I hunted anything high fence last year. Now, I don't have a problem with hunting high fence. You know what? If you got thousands burning in your pocket, and that's what you want to do, hey, more power to you. You know what? Whatever floats your boat. Kind of goes along with the other comments. If that's what makes you happy, go for it. Especially some of the exotic hunting stuff, zebras and stuff like that. Hey, if that's what floats your boat and you can afford to do it, more power to you. More power to you. No hate on you. Absolutely. I don't have a problem with it. Do what you do. I'm happy for you. Hunting ranches, hunting public, hunting private. Your grandpappy's got 1,000 acres. More power to you. You're catching critters. I absolutely love it. This guy says, I'm from Arizona. If you even see a deer, you're pretty lucky depending on your zone. So yeah, I'd take them. So here we're getting perspectives from all over the U.S. here, guys. This commenter says, in Arizona, you're lucky to see a deer. So definitely take it. See, that's another perspective. Normally, when I get comments and people say, well, that's a tiny deer, it's people from up north. It's people from Iowa, Illinois, and it's people that either own a bunch of land or have permission to hunt a bunch of land, and they're managing big deer that weigh over 300 pounds. I've never seen a deer over 300 pounds in my life. I took a doe last week that was 50, 60 pounds. This is Tennessee. Everybody's got a different perspective. That's what I'm trying to get across here, guys, and in this video is a big piece of it. It's all about perspective. You could shoot a 200-inch deer in Texas. It might not weigh more than 150 pounds. But that same rack on a deer in Ohio might be over 300 pounds. I'm just saying. Everything's different depending on where you live. Joe Bear says, absolutely. Better me than the guy on the next ranch over. So that's a different perspective too. I think I said something earlier in this video like, if I don't take that deer, I'm probably never going to see it again. It'll die of disease, it'll get hit by a car, or guess what? The neighbor's going to take it. That kind of all goes back to kind of the way I feel about it. You know what? God had that deer walk in front of me, then I'm probably supposed to drop him. It's just the way I feel about it. I'm probably never going to see a deer again. Again, it's all about perspective. It's about where you live, the property you have access to hunt. If you're hunting 1,000 acres, there might be a good chance, and you're the only one that hunts it, it's probably a good chance you could let him live another year. Let him grow. I'll see him next year. But if you hunt like 10 acres or 20 acres, or you're hunting public, probably not going to see him. Probably not going to see him. Here's another comment. Chewy says, first come, first served. That would be a nice buck for Connecticut. There you go, guys. We got another state chiming in. That would be a nice buck for Connecticut. So, depending on where you live, where you hunt, probably was the #1 factor of how you answered this survey. 2/3 of you guys said you would take this deer. I said I would take this deer. Here we go. Here's another state. I just mentioned Iowa. Gone Riding 4225 says, too small. Here in Iowa, we don't waste ammo on tiny deer like that. It's all about perspective, guys. I've never hunted Iowa. I've never seen a deer in Iowa. I've driven through Iowa, but I've never deer hunted in Iowa. Somebody in Iowa call me and let's go take some deer. I'll film them. You take the deer. Bap Ned something says, probably not. But I live in the mountains of Colorado. Here's another perspective from a different state. I live in the mountains of Colorado where our small mule deer are the size of y'all's big whitetail. Winky face. So there's another perspective. This guy's in Colorado. Their deer are a lot bigger than ours. See, it's all about perspective. So, thanks everybody for taking part in this survey. While we're sitting here talking, I guarantee you there's been some more comments, so let me refresh it. Come on, man, there's so many comments. I appreciate y'all being a part of this survey. I love learning this stuff and seeing what you guys think about it. It said 62%. Now it says 61%. I should have taken a screenshot. Still, 61%. That's almost 2/3 of you guys said you would take that deer. 4,500 people have answered. But hey, that's the video, guys. I just love talking to you guys about this stuff. 8-pointer. Yeah, it's a young deer, but it's all about perspective. For where I have access to hunt and the time I have to hunt deer, that's a good deer to me. If I get that deer, you're going to see us mount them up on the wall. And I'm going to be proud to show them off to people when they come over to the house. But hey, let's continue this discussion in the comments down below. Would you take that deer, this deer, and why? Let me know. I'm learning from you guys even in this survey. States like Connecticut, Arizona, New Jersey. Hey, hard to find a deer like that. Where I hunt in Tennessee, like I said, hard to find a deer like that. 2 years ago, I hunted public land for 25 days, and I saw one small doe. That's just the way things are. There's not a lot of public land near me. I got a family. I got to work. I got stuff I got to do. Hunting every day on public land is no longer a reality or a possibility for me. But yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving me your perspective. Again, put down in the comments your perspective. Where do you hunt? Is that a good deer for you? Why or why not? Appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you're subscribed, guys. Make sure you follow us everywhere. I'm posting deals and all kinds of extra content on all my other socials, especially Twitter. I've started to like Twitter more and more because I can do whatever I want and not be afraid of what I'm going to post or get in trouble for. Also, make sure you're following us on the newsletter at WHOTEEWHO.com. We're doing giveaways and all kinds of stuff like that. But hey, appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. WHOTEEWHO!